Okay, so today we're going deep on a case that I think a lot of people are familiar with.
Yeah.
Um, Even if you don't know the specifics, you probably at least heard about it.
Right.
Elisa Lam and the Cecil Hotel.
Oh, yeah, for sure. One of those stories that just,
It gets under your skin.
yeah,
It
it's
sticks
just,
with.
so for those who maybe haven't heard of it,
Okay.
this is a story that kind of blew up online back in 2013.
Mm-hmm.
A young woman, Elisa Lam, she vanishes from a hotel in downtown LA.
The Cecil Hotel specifically, right?
Yeah, the Cecil Hotel. And I mean, this place has a reputation.
Oh, we'll get into that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. As a whole other thing.
Layers to this story for sure.
But the really strange part, okay, so she disappears,
Yeah.
and then weeks later, she's found dead in a water tank on the roof of the hotel.
Yeah, and the way she was found, how long it took, all of that just adds to the mystery.
And if that wasn't strange enough, there's this elevator footage.
Oh, yeah. That's the thing that really captured everyone's attention.
Right. It's the last known recording of her alive. And it is bizarre, to say the least.
It's just so creepy the way she's acting in the elevator, like she's hiding from someone or talking to something that we can't see.
It's like a scene from a horror movie.
Exactly.
Oh.
And that's why this case has become such a huge online phenomenon.
Right. I mean, people have been analyzing that footage for years, trying to figure out what it means.
So for this deep dive, we're looking at a couple of different sources.
Okay.
We've got a news report that kind of takes a look back at a recent documentary about Elisa Lam.
Interesting. So we get the media's perspective on how the story's been told.
Exactly. And then we've also got an episode from the Unsolved Mysteries podcast.
Oh, classic.
Yeah, they do a really good job of laying out all the facts and the key questions of the case.
So kind of like the groundwork before we get into the theories and speculation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's kind of our mission with this deep dive, right? We want to sort through all of the evidence,
Right.
explore all the theories, even the really out there ones.
The paranormal stuff.
Yeah, and just try to understand why this story still fascinates people so much.
I'm ready to dive in.
Me too. So let's start with the basic timeline.
Okay.
Elisa Lam, she's 21 years old. She's a student from Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And she's on this solo trip across the U.S., seeing the sights.
Sound like an adventure.
Yeah, it was supposed to be.
Mm.
But then on January 31st, 2013, she's last seen alive at the Cecil Hotel in downtown L.A.
And that's where things take a turn.
Yeah, so a couple of weeks go by,
Mm-hmm.
and she's reported missing. Obviously, her family and friends are worried sick.
I can't imagine.
And then the LAPD, they released this surveillance footage from one of the hotel elevators.
Oh, yeah, that's the video we were talking about.
And this is where things go from a missing persons case to a full-blown internet mystery.
That footage is so strange, so unsettling, it's hard to even describe.
Okay, so picture this, the elevator door is open.
Yeah.
Lisa walks in, and she's acting really, really strange.
Like how soon?
She's pressing all these buttons like frantically,
Hmm.
and then she steps out into the hallway.
Like she's looking for someone?
Yeah. But then she ducks back in,
Huh.
and it looks like she's trying to hide or something.
Like someone's after her?
Yeah, and then she starts talking and gesturing with her hands.
Wait, like she's having a conversation?
Yeah, but there's no one there. It's like she's talking to a ghost or something.
Chills, dude.
Right, and then the doors, they keep trying to close, but they won't.
Oh, that's so creepy. Like something's preventing them from closing.
And finally, she just walks out of the frame and the doors stay open.
Wow. Okay, so that footage obviously went viral instantly.
Oh yeah, people were obsessed with it.
I mean, you can't blame them. It's so bizarre.
And everyone had a different theory about what it meant.
Right. Was she having some kind of mental breakdown? Was she on drugs? Was someone following her?
We'll get into all those theories a little bit later, but first let's talk about what happened next.
Okay.
So 19 days after Elisa disappears, her body is found.
19 days. That's a long time.
I know, and where they find her is the really disturbing part. In one of the water tanks on the roof of the hotel.
What? How does she even get up there?
Yeah, that's one of the biggest mysteries of this whole case.
Was the roof accessible?
Well, from what we know, the roof was locked, and there was an alarm system.
So it wasn't like just anyone could wander up there?
No, not at all.
And those water tanks are huge, right?
Yeah, they're these massive industrial tanks.
Not easy to get into at all.
No. And the way they found her body is also pretty unsettling.
Okay, how so?
So guests at the hotel, they had been complaining for days about the water.
Oh, no.
The water pressure was low, it tasted weird, and some people even said it was discolored.
So like they were using water that had...
Yeah, it's a really disturbing thought.
I mean, that raises so many questions about the hotel's maintenance and how often they checked those tanks.
Right, like how can they have missed that for so long?
It's a really troubling aspect of the case, for sure.
Okay, so now let's talk about some of the theories that have been put forward to explain what happened to Elisa.
All right, let's get into it.
So starting with the more grounded perspectives, one of the things that we need to consider is Elisa's mental health.
Right. The Unsolved Mysteries episode mentions that she had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder.
And that's a really important piece of the puzzle because bipolar disorder can cause some pretty extreme mood swings and changes in behavior.
Yeah, during a manic episode, someone might act really impulsively or even have delusions.
And during a depressive episode, they might withdraw from people and lose interest in things they used to enjoy.
So it's possible that her bipolar disorder played a role in her disappearance.
Yeah, one theory is that she was experiencing a manic episode
Mm-hmm.
and maybe she wandered up to the roof in a state of confusion or disorientation.
And then somehow ended up in a water tank.
It's a tragic possibility, but it's definitely something that investigators considered. Now, another theory is that foul play was involved.
Okay, so someone might have harmed her.
Yeah, the Unsolved Mysteries episode touches on this as well.
What kind of evidence is there to support that?
Well, there wasn't any obvious signs of a struggle in the elevator footage.
Right.
And there wasn't any evidence of forced entry on the roof or into the water tank.
So it's not a slam dunk.
No. But some people believe that she might have been followed to the hotel or that someone who worked at the hotel might have been involved.
Yeah, I mean, the Cecil Hotel has a pretty dark history.
Oh, yeah, that's a whole other rabbit hole.
So it's not completely out of the realm of possibility.
But without any solid evidence,
Yeah.
it's really just speculation at this point.
True.
Okay, so now let's get into the more unconventional theories.
Right, good stuff.
The paranormal stuff.
Yeah, the Texto Colado article talks about all the ghost stories and conspiracy theories that have sprung up around this case.
And a lot of that has to do with the Cecil Hotel itself.
Right, this place has a reputation.
It's notorious. I mean, it's been the site of multiple suicides, overdoses.
Yeah, and even serial killers have stayed there.
Yeah, like Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I've heard of him.
And Jack Underwicker, he was another serial killer who actually used the hotel as his hunting ground.
That's terrifying.
So with all of that baggage, it's no wonder that people see the Cecil Hotel as a place that's haunted or cursed.
Right, like there's some kind of dark energy surrounding it.
And that's definitely fueled a lot of the paranormal theories about Elisa Lam's death.
Makes sense.
And then you've got all these weird coincidences that people have pointed out.
Oh, yeah, I love a good coincidence.
Like there's this movie Dark Water that came out a few years before Elisa's death.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about a woman who finds a body in a water tank.
Spooky.
And then there's this tuberculosis test called the Lam Elisa test.
No way.
Yeah, it's pretty strange, right?
Like the universe is trying to tell us something.
I know. And all of this has led to a ton of speculation online,
Yeah, the internet loves a good mystery.
especially one with all these creepy details.
Right, and that's where the web sleuths come in.
Well, what?
Web sleuth. They're basically amateur detectives who use the internet to investigate crimes.
Oh, so they're like the online version of Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, kind of. And the Elisa Lam case has attracted a lot of them.
I bet.
They've been poring over every detail of the case, looking for clues and connections.
But the documentary director, he actually has a word of caution about that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he says that sometimes these web sleuths, they get so focused on the coincidences and the conspiracy theories that they lose sight of the bigger picture.
So, like, they go down these rabbit holes and maybe miss the more obvious explanations.
Exactly. And he says that's a danger with any case that gets this much attention online.
That's a good point.
You can get so caught up in the hype that you lose your objectivity.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that I found really interesting about the Texto Colado article was that it included the perspective of the hotel manager.
Oh, yeah. Amy Price.
Yeah. And she talks about how devastating Elisa's disappearance was for the staff.
I bet they felt awful.
Yeah, I mean, they were accused of all sorts of things.
Like what?
Covering up the crime, being negligent, you name it.
Ugh, that's terrible.
And Amy Price, she talks about how the Cecil Hotel, it was kind of a unique situation.
Like how so?
Well, it was located in a really tough part of downtown L.A.,
Yeah.
and they had a mix of tourists and long-term residents, which could be challenging to manage.
I can imagine.
And so she felt like the media, they kind of just painted this picture of the Cecil Hotel as this evil place.
Yeah, without really understanding the complexities of the situation.
Exactly. And that's why she wanted to share her side of the story.
To humanize the people who work there.
Yeah. And I think that's really important to remember.
For sure.
Because behind all the mystery and the speculation, there are real people who are affected by this tragedy.
Right.
Okay, so the documentary director, he also had a very specific goal in mind when he made his film.
What was that?
He wanted to tell Elisa's story responsibly,
Okay.
without sensationalizing it or disrespecting her memory.
That's important.
Yeah, he felt like a lot of the coverage had been really exploitative.
Yeah, just focusing on the creepy aspects of the case.
Right, and he wanted to move away from that.
So he wanted to focus on Elisa as a person.
Yeah, and to understand the human tragedy behind all the folklore.
That's a really admirable goal.
Okay, so even after all this time, there are still so many unanswered questions about the Elisa Lam case.
Right.
Like the Unsolved Mysteries episode really highlights that.
Like what actually happened in that elevator?
Yeah, what was she doing? Was she talking to someone? Was she having a mental breakdown?
We still don't know for sure,
And how did she get onto the roof and into that water tank?
especially with it being locked and alarmed.
Right, it's a real head scratcher.
So we've got all these theories,
Yeah,
but no definitive answers.
and I think that's part of what makes this case so fascinating.
Yeah, the mystery of it all.
We want to believe that there's a rational explanation,
Mm-hmm.
but then you've got all these weird details that just don't add up.
The creepy elevator footage, the locked roof, the water tank.
It's like something out of a nightmare.
It really is.
So as you're listening to this, think about what aspect of this case you find the most compelling or the most unsettling.
Yeah, what really sticks with you?
Is it the mystery of the elevator footage?
Or the logistical impossibility of her getting into the water tank.
Or maybe it's just the overall creepiness of the Cecil Hotel and its history.
It's a case that really makes you think.
It does. And it's a case that I think will continue to fascinate people for years to come.
Agree.
So if you're interested in learning more, I definitely recommend checking out the documentaries and the podcast episode that we mentioned.
Yeah, do some more digging.
But as always, be critical of the information you find online.
Right. There's a lot of misinformation out there.
And remember that at the heart of this case is a real person who lost her life.
A young woman with a family and friends who still miss her.
Yeah, it's important to never lose sight of that.
Agreed.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
It's been a trip.
Until next time, stay curious.
And stay safe out there.